Assalamualaikum everyone. Dear Siam, we would like to thank you very much for showing continued interest in our university and for your patience during our waitlist process. This year's applicant pool was the strongest and the most competitive that we have ever witnessed, and therefore we regret to inform that we could not offer you a place in the class of 2020. I recognize the fact that this may come as a huge disappointment for you in your life. However, as the saying goes, the life of the mind lives on wherever there are those who carry its banner. We believe that you will do well wherever you matriculate from, and hope that you engage in your future educational pursuits with the same enthusiasm that has led you to choose us. We wish you the best of luck. I did not memorize these lines to make a good opening, ladies and gentlemen. You don't memorize lines that you read over a dozen times, wishing that you have misread it. You don't memorize a letter that you could not read anymore because your tears have blurred the words. I had reason to believe, and I had high ambitions, that I would get into one of the top 10 universities in the world. And I was waitlisted. When that letter came, I had hoped upon hope that maybe this university could change my mundane life, could turn me into an achieved person. But this letter came and destroyed everything. My world had collapsed, and the skies had crashed on it. My friends had gone abroad. Some of them because they were more qualified than I was, and some of them simply because they could afford it. Life was unfair. Life was meaningless, and I had stopped studying. I stayed back in this country, and with every little energy, the small amount of mental energy that I had left, I studied hard and got myself into a prestigious business school. And despite the prestige, I believe that I have failed. Because what I had hoped for, I did not get. I may have been an economist, I may have been a scientist, but I did not get it because I could not afford it. This is my story, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not unique. Every year in this country, thousands of people apply to public university. It's a Hunger Games. You have to kill to survive. You have to kill. You have to compete to get into the best universities in the world. Otherwise, you're trash. Otherwise, you're like those defective clothes which are sold opposite Dhaka College. Ladies and gentlemen, for every one student that passes a public university examination, thousands of them fail. For every one student who passes a public examination, thousands of them has lost their lives. They lose their confidence, they get sidetracked, and they are treated like trash. This is how our society defines success. This is how our society, our nation, causes the death of potential great minds. We chase university degrees. When you get that degree, when you get that piece of paper verifying the fact that you know the history and the productivity of assembly line management, of assembly line production, you forget that the person who conceptualized the entire idea did not have formal education. When you get that degree showing that you can appreciate the wit of Mark Twain with your big, big words, you forget that the person whose books you are reading never went to college. You may have an electrical engineering degree, and yet you forget the fact that the person who invented the light bulb, the person who has set the foundation of modern electricity, did not go to school. This is, in our society, our youth have forgotten the fact that intuition and genius does not have anything to do with a number. It doesn't have anything to do with CGPAs or which university you study in. If you wanted to be a programmer, go home, download a book. Programming meant to teach kids. One day, you might start your own IT firm. If you wanted to learn music, but you couldn't afford a keyboard, download an app and strum through it until you can replicate your favorite songs. In this age of information, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to fulfill our dreams is all around us. All we need to do is to look for them. All energy in this world, in this earth, comes from the sun. But we don't get our energy from the sun. We don't have bio-solar cells. We get it because plants can photosynthesize, can convert that energy into ones that we can use. That is what our life is like, ladies and gentlemen. We have sunlight and we have information everywhere. It is only how you can receive that information, how you can use that information and convert it to lead yourself to your dreams. Your failures is simply a lesson towards your success. Your humiliation is simply a memory that you will laugh at once you are successful. Your fears is the barrier separating you from your success. Did you know that you could bite off your finger just as easily as you can bite off a carrot, but the brain stops it because it fears your fingers being cut off? Don't try this, by the way. It's to drive home a point. Life is short, ladies and gentlemen. It's too short to satisfy everyone, to satisfy yourself even. But what I advise you is that you stop following these societal rules and do what your heart says. Make sure that in this small life, when the angel of death will come up to you to tell you that your hour is over, you can tell him that every second that passed by, I had lived it. Every moment that was given to me, I had owned it. And I have a story to tell you, because I have just had an adventure.